Welcome to the last silver race, number 7, before the end of the second day of the regional rankings in Nynäshamn, showing also the arenas available for sailing for the Globals. And they're coming in for a start. I will soon speed up the sequences so you can see what's happening. And we are going to follow particularly two boats. Mats Hagman in yellow sails, blue, and Göran Uggla with number 88. So they are moving up towards the first windward mark. Mats Hagman has a rather good position, closer to the windward mark than the other boats. And as they get closer, we will see what will happen. And we will speed up a little bit now. You see that Hagman first, and then Göran Uggla in 88. There, number 12 is coming up, Fredrik Edring, and some other boats. But let's follow them down and see in somewhat increased speed how the race proceeds rather nicely for the second leg up. Hagman in the lead, turning towards the bridge. A little bit tight there with Göran Uggla, competing for the upper edge as they get closer to the shore. Hagman goes still a bit further to the shore in order to get the upper hand as he is moving up to the second windward mark position. And as he comes closer to the second windward mark, he's certainly going to be challenged by other boats coming closer from two different directions. Göran Uggla a bit further away, but still behind. Ahead, but still behind when he comes to the windward mark. There 88 catches up with 14, and they race towards the end game with the last leg. And you see this racing arena quite nice, open winds, relatively steady winds, and now we see them coming up towards the end. Mats Hagman lost a little bit of ground in the final part there, and you will find Göran Uggla speeding towards victory in this last silver race. Well done. So it's a 6 heat race in the final, and we have the gold fleet We are starting race 7A. Boats are lining up behind the sailors there. We don't see very well at the start, so we just resume a little bit later when we know what's going to happen there. 10 seconds to start. And off they are on race 7A. Took 6-0 close to the bridge. Mats Hagman, number 14, yellow sails. Number 17, Shuvalov, yellow boat, leads the whole competition so far. Followed by Magnus Timmerdal, number 8, who had an unfortunate DNF in the last race. Number 6. It's somewhat less wind right now, a bit gusty, but still very good conditions actually for this day, comparison to yesterday in particular. And we have Shuvalov coming in, rounding the top mark as number 1, followed by 190 I think, Kent Bengtsson, and 417 Peter Wallin. And off on the way back, the top mark. Today, of course, a much better experience in terms of sailing quality than yesterday, when we had very unsteady wind shifting from north to south basically in one day, sometimes down to 1 or 2 meters per second, which is not appropriate for a good sailing experience. So we have Mats Hagman in a good position now for this race, closer to the so we'll see how they are there's much closer group of sailors this time than in the previous races, where we always seem to have 1 or 2 or 3 in the lead and followed by a gap. So let's see now who runs first. Well, clearly Tim Shuvalov had some problem there. He had to make a turn and maybe got into another boat. 470 and 88 now coming up very well. That's Göran Uggla, who was not here with us the first day, followed by Mats Hagman, number 14, yellow sails. 184 Mellström, 77 Olle Krug, and number 12 Fredrik Edgren, 190 Kent Bengtsson, 260 Mr. Lindholm, and moving up again through the crowd, we'll see. We see now that Tim Shuvalov competes with Magnus Uggla. Göran Uggla. Magnus is someone else, or actually several other people. Number 17 and number 88. And number 88 goes very well and has passed Tim Shuvalov. So let's zoom out a little bit so we can see how they're getting closer now. Also, Mats Hagman goes fine, and it's going to be an interesting race to the top mark. And let's move over to the top mark here, and we'll see how they come closer. The first one we see below the others is number 470, who is probably not going to make it. Yeah, maybe he gets on top of the almost. No, he had to make a turn. So in the race for, let's see when they come down and not blocked by the sailors, who's now in the lead. We have 88, I think, yes. 470, followed by several boats. Number 17, so we'll see when we come down here who's in the lead for the finishing leg. We have 88, Göran Ugla. We have 470, De Wallin. And we have Tim Shuvalov has a bit very low wind there for the moment. I don't know what's happening. Very strange wind conditions. It's sort of a hole. He doesn't move. Very, very strange. Now he's managing to get around to get some speed again. Coming back up for the final leg. Followed by 190 Kent Bengtsson, 260 Lindholm, Olle Krog 77. Ulf Lindberg 645, 14 Mats Hagman, and 184 Joakim Mellström, and number 12 Fredrik Edgren. And that's about it for this race. So there we are. So welcome back. We're now at race 6B, and there's good gust. And the boats are on their way to the windward mark. Number 43, seemingly in the lead, together with, I think it's Ulf Lindberg 645. We will just zoom in briefly to see if we can get a little bit more clarity on the positions. So we have 43, 645, I think it is, in the lead. In a rather substantial lead, the two votes actually. You can see here that the others are quite far behind. So it's Thomas Stenvall on 43, Ulf Lindberg, and now going to the leeward mark. And it's Ulf Lindberg in the lead. He's training hard in the United States over the winter. Good return on that training, it looks, in this particular heat at least. So it turns out that the track for this particular heat, as well as the previous ones today, have been sailed fairly quickly. So we have short races today so far, which means that we will have time for more than perhaps we have the next group. Let's zoom out on the ones on the inner side. That's 24 Mats Claesson, 266 Lindholm. On the outer side it's Magnus Bod and number 74 Pelle Georgsson, 269 another Lindholm. And let's go back to see what's happening with the lead boats up on top of the screen, partially hidden by the bridge, but not too bad. So you have now clearly a question whether yes, it seems that Thomas Envall is able to catch the first position around the mark, but he has a little bit of difficulty. So again, Ulf Lindberg gets ahead through the spreader mark. It goes downwards, and the others are still on their way up. So this again is rate 6B and the regional ranking in Nynäshamn, the site of the Globals, for the second day on the 7th of April 2024. And you see Ulf Lindberg and Thomas Envall there at the right of the screen going down, following their two leading boats down, and it's a bit tough for Ulf there. He's managing to keep the boat under control, but only just. And it seems that Envall has the difficulty to decide where to go, and Ulf Lindberg speeds towards what seems to be the win in this race 6B. Followed by Thomas Envall, number 43. And there we have 260 on his way up, Mr. Lindholm, one of the two Lindholms in this race. And followed by Peder Georgsson, number 74, to the left of the picture here. We have similarly 470, and we have Magnus Pood, number 1, and 26. Let's see who's there. 269, another Lindholm, and we have number 77, Ole Krog. We have Magnus Mats Hagman coming in, number 14, almost reaching the same. Yes, he managed to pass Lindholm number 2 there on the finishing line. So that's for the 6B.